and it was suggested several times that we do in a form of webinar or hangout or any other form where we interact instead of me doing those long videos. And well, that's today we're starting this, and I really hope that it worked out and we do it regular, might be weekly, and we can do it in a way not only I share what we do and what our progress and how we view something, how to do it in a system. So I also expect, I also always encourage to hear feedback from you guys because you're in the fields, and very often something that is absolutely essential or absolutely kind of no-brainer for you might be a revelation for us. So that one simple change or simple improvement will make the complete usability of the system user experience much better. Well, I named it with the most obvious name, easy setup and start your campaign. And well, target of this is someone who new for RankWyz, updated RankWyz. So should we call it updated RankWyz, RankWyz 2.0? But it's definitely completely different RankWyz. And I'm not even sure if it's easier for someone completely new to RankWyz to start with, or someone who's familiar with the old interface, old UI, old workflow, because I see that people, I have experience chatting with old users coming back and completely lost in the system. First of all, because they have a memory of what RankWyz used to do and what was a workflow. Second, after we introduced our service like about 3 years ago, there are few systems that like few web systems that do similar function, they implement similar functionality in more or less similar way, and then it reinforces the expectation of the same workflow of how we do campaigns in this type of system, and all of a sudden we changing it completely, and I think this is the first area to tackle. So there are like a lot of areas that I started putting a simple list of what we can cover if we do it weekly, and it goes long. So I don't think, I think it's a good idea not to jam everything in one session, but at the same time, nobody wants to hear about something interesting for like 2 months because I carefully spread all information over like every session week after week. So again, this is the area where I'm will be looking for your feedback in terms of what you want to hear more. And well, with the setup, like back to the topic, and I'll try to stay on topic because I have tendency, I guess, because of excitement. So like I have a tendency continue on and on and on and on, even every time before the video, before my talk, I say that is going to be short, it's going to be brief. So how to set up content and how to set up how to set up campaign in RankWyz. So the best way to see this, it will be for me going back to the drawing board of what when we redesigned the system, what we put it in the concept and a design and what was from the old system that didn't work for us. And I'm always going to be mentioning old system because majority of you here is from our existing or old clients who are familiar with the old system. So basically understanding the reason why we did this will help you understand the transition we made over. The typical system that does posting, remote posting, usually jams everything together. So that the posting is the main, the posting itself is the main objective, the main entity. So, and everything else that comes with the posting is supports it. So I decided to post to my blogs. So then I need to supply the content. Then I need to, if links are not there, so somehow embed links, and then I need to schedule. So basically, everything starts from scheduling, from posting to my blog. The way we structure that is, and this is one of the point of the confusion, because everyone is looking how to start posting and then realize that some pieces needs to be prepared before that. So if we look at the workflow, the typical campaign, so there are like three major questions: what to post, where to post, and how to post. And what to post, that will be related to content. Where to post, it will be related to the projects, networks, blogs, or we have. And how to post, it is a submission. So we call it submission. Some people call it campaign. So it's something that groups everything together and configures to be posted. So for that reason, whenever I set up new campaign, and the way I see the setup of new campaign, it always comes with setting up the content. The content is implemented. It's now extracted from the submission, extracted from posting, and it's now a standalone. We call it content meal. So it's built-in content server. So it's a standalone component that can be extracted to use as a. It's like a system in a system. So it's just only responsible for the content, and as a result, so it provides more flexibility because it's not anyhow bound to the posting or any other activity. So it's responsible for producing the content. To set up a content, so I'm not going through all details, but assuming so we're going through the steps of setting up the content, I go to left side navigation and we have a content meal. Content meal, so it has a separate interface, it has a separate area in the system, and it's not tied with the submissions or projects or blogs. Some see it's very inconvenient, but over time they start using, they see the idea is the content the content meal is responsible for producing content that could be used by multiple submissions, and it has a life cycle on its own. The problem with a system like ours, so when we have a lot of integration, when we rely on a lot of extraction of data from the external sources, and after we compile the article, we also do another calls for third-party services like for spinning, for translation. Altogether, it's a pretty complex task that, if on the top of this, bundle it with submission, make it extremely hard to trace and track why something doesn't work. So now we have a built-in content server, content meal, and everything in the content organized in the form of buckets. Content bucket. So basically, it's a grouping of the articles, and we have a simple workflow of creating the bucket, running it, starting it, stopping it, configuring. I have another mind map for the complete content meal setup, but I think we're away if I just now go into this. I will just briefly cover this so we stay on the top view of the setup campaign. So we're now covering the content meal and link profile. Link profile is optional, but in majority of campaigns it will be present. So like this is actually why we do any posting, so we post links. To set up new bucket, to set up new content bucket, we create a new bucket and give it a name. And we have several options for content sources. So, and I briefly go over the content sources. We have obviously, like when I want to post my create my submission, I want to create my post. One of the options is post my own content. Technically, it can be either generated content from other system or semi-manually, or might be even handwritten content, but it's it's my content, and I want to post it. And in this case, the bucket will be on articles. Basically, it allows to upload articles and post them on the to use it for my campaign. So we also have integration with article builder, which is probably the most famous content generation service. Everyone uses. Everyone has an integration. I don't think it needs an introduction. It has its strengths and weaknesses, but it's definitely popular and it definitely has a reason. Like it has, there's a different campaigns where like articlebuilder.net articles will definitely benefit it because of the variety of the content they produce. Syndicated content is, in other words, scraped or mashed content. So we, based on your niche keywords and criteria, collect the relevant content, and then we create an article of this content. It is less readable of all choices, but it is so-called evergreen content. We set it up so that system grabs new chunk of the content. We scrape your content every 7 days. It creates a huge blob of content on our server side, and every time you post, it creates a new article of the relevant sentences. We do our best to make it somewhat readable. First of all, because we don't break them into too small pieces. Second, we apply grammar correction. So if you look at it, it takes 2-3 sentences to read before you realize might be so that it's just might be not the best writer who did this content, but it is great content in terms of technical, in the form of great technical content, and it's worked, still getting very indexed, very well indexed. And the last type of the content is mixed content, mixed sources. So we probably will have to come up with a better name because it's just cumbersome content of the mixed content, but the idea is of mixed sources. And again, so it's probably worth a separate webinar to go over exact configuration, but this is our latest and greatest configuration where you can compile your content from completely different pieces, sources, including article builder, including your own article, syndicated content, news. So this is mixed, and that's it has blocks of article builder, syndicated, news, social. We just added RSS. You can mix in the fragments of your own articles, missed videos, images. So basically all together, it creates a flexible template. And on the top of this, we recently changed the concept of the keyword based into topic based. And every content creates every article created on a specific topic, unlike on the bunch of keywords that creates somewhat relevant articles. So let's say if the topic is if you're like the most simple example, I used it in the introduction of this type of content. Let's say if I have a site on sports, the topics could be different type of sports. We can have a hockey, soccer, we can have baseball and tennis. And if we use what every other system does and what we did in the past, mashup of those keywords, so it's probably will create somewhat nonsense. That's why mashup works only for very closely related content. Mixed it is like curated content, but curated in the form. Let's put it this way. It's getting towards it's our move towards curated content, but it's not. I don't want to call it curated content because we are working on the huge step forward to improve this, to make it more of the curated content, because at this moment, well, while you configure different content sources and templates, you have little control of what is presented, and sometimes good point. We cannot see the other questions. The question is mixed content is like a curated content? It is, as I started, so it's kind of like curated content, but it's not. It's not in a form, because curated content assumes some step that curator interacts with the content. So it might be approved, might be changed, might be slightly modified, and this is the step we're still going into. So we're very close into introducing semi-manual creation of the content for the first for the high-level tier, when you can manually combine, correct, approved and reject articles based on the creation. So yeah, it is a step toward curation. Regarding spooning, the question, is it spoon? Yeah, that every content has an option afterwards to apply spinning. It has an option to apply translation, embedding images, videos. So it's another question: if am I recording the video? Will it be available? Yes, as I said, because it's my first experience, I am recording it. Will it be available afterward? It depends how good the webinar will go through. Like, I mean, so if it would not be too embarrassing to post, yes, I definitely will. So like again, so this is it's definitely interesting topic, and thanks, guys. It's a great topic, and I'm really obsessed with the idea of the semi-readable, good quality SEO content. We're definitely going in this direction. We have lots of ideas, and you probably noticed that lately we put too much effort, balance, like out of a little bit went out of balance, focusing on the content. But this is just because I believe that the mashup, the criteria for content that was working for the like last 3 or 4 years after Panda hit, and everyone just was scared that and started building the content into this some kind of relevancy, but then we all loosen up. So, well, if I mash up some contents, some keywords somewhat related to this, it will great, because like there are like two major shifts. One is the relevant content and the context, the context of the where the link is placed, and the second one is the diversified anchor. Like any automated system can deal much better with a diversification of anchors, and somewhat relevant content is every. This is what was introduced a huge market like about 4 years ago, when you cannot any longer put a link into the any type of content. But I believe that this comes to the end. More and more Google shifts the effort away from the anchor to determine relevance of the linking page from the content itself, and therefore the like just generic mix up based on the good point. Someone suggests so that I have to go back to the setup campaigns. Yep, that's actually feedback I was looking for to direct me to the main point of presentation. So basic, going back, so there's a huge topic, so I'd like to discuss it on might be next webinar of the content, where we're going. I'd like to hear your feedback. I will share ideas on how we're going into curated content, and how can we improve relevance of the content. I show how we introduce topics. There's now another idea of allow to create articles from multiple topics, long SEO content. This is all content mill. So we created, so we have it running. You can see I have articles created, and let's say one of the example I use paleo diet. So you can see a preview of the articles. You can see that it's already made over 4,000 posts from this content. I was looking actually for this one, diet. This is topics what I was referring to, so that now instead of mashing up all keywords all together, so every article creates it on specific topics. This is latest edition, so we have option to upload your own articles and use snippets. This is most recent, so you can upload, you can add RSS feeds, and all together you use settings and configure content blocks. You can move them around up and down. You can specify parameters for each keyword, and you can yep. So there are like advanced settings. That's all together that's related to the first question, what to post. Once we have this, once I have my backend running, I have articles created on a specific topic. If I go to raw food diet, you can see that it has very high relevance to the topic, not to mash up on the diet keywords, title, image, news, video. I can do random, let's say, cabbage soup diet, and it is about cabbage soup diet. So it's basically there's some cabbage soup diet testimonial. So it's this is how it's created, way higher relevant and targeted content, and this is number one. So this is where we start. Well, I should cover link profiles, because once you set up your content, you want to build in your links in some campaigns. Checking once in a while the questions. No, we don't have copy escape built in, and because it's generated content mostly, I don't see it's, unless it's just you want some kind of double proof that we did a good job with that. I don't see why we need a copy escape in here. We never had, and you can test our articles on copy escape. And again, that's a broad question, because I believe that idea of uniqueness to the single word is a little bit outdated, and I see that snippets of the RSS news, social mentioning with attribution works as well, might be even better, while they stay readable, and they can, if properly formatted, pass any manual review. Exactly the same way as any complete copy of the press release, ranking well and indexed well, and it's according to Google guidelines, as long as there is an attribution link. So I personally not a big fan even spinning the content afterwards, because it's really hard to spin automatically without breaking grammar, and Google use so-called n-grams to put a grade, grammar grade on any content, and the more of the broken grammar patterns on the page, the low quality of the content. This is technical content. Bot cannot read the content, but bot, exactly the same as Microsoft Word or any word processor, can highlight bad grammar. Exactly the same way the Google bot can tell that like so many like call it green highlights, what's they used to. So they rewrite the content presented. Um, Well, we can rewrite the content presented, but because we still focus in the bulk posting, so that we explore mostly the ideas of automatically creating this type of content without rewriting. But again, it's a preference. It's a preference, and we have an option to after any article is created, you can let's say go to a news blog. Enable or disable attribution link, and um, go in advanced settings and enable spinning. So this actually exactly uses spin rewriter. This example uses spin rewriter. So this is all content. Now we're going to the briefly into link profiles, because I am again like halfway through the hour, and we're not going to get close to the setting up campaigns. Link profiles. It's a visual editor for links, anchors, and URLs all together, where you can compile. And again, so this is another part of relevancy nowadays. We improve relevance of the content, but we also still need to have highly diversified yet targeted anchors, because anchors work and will work for a long time. I don't think they will be discontinuing using them, because it's such an easy what do you call the criteria so that can be used to get another way like categorize that type of content. So what it has, a link profile has an option to mix primary keywords, secondary keywords, embed generic keywords. You just simply changing them on or off, changing percentage of using. So you can use prefixes, suffixes, and we have a separate video on a variety of options in here. And once you have, so there's a lower section of how, like this is where the anchors are coming from, and the lower section about URLs. Question, so what is an easy way to publish content on my blogs? Well, that's basically, this is where we're going, but again, so because of the a different level of familiarity of everyone with the system, so we cover it from steps. So how to set up content, where to post it, and how to post it. So we briefly, well, as briefly as I could, went through the content mill, and now we covering link profiles. So you set up anchors, you set up URLs, and you can, there are multiple lists. My own URL, this is where you enter your URLs. Thank you. Well, there's someone, and Rob encourages me, so that it's a good detail level. We have URLs, and again, the same percentage distribution. We have URLs. We have authority URLs, and this is basically where the system goes to the Google Ambient News and extract relevant to your topic URLs. So basically mixing it up, which is considered now like common practice. I can use links from my blogs, home pages of it's not, Andrea, it's not 3 URLs for one keywords. It's we have number of lists separate lists from which we build anchor. Primary keywords, in this case, I have 8%, 26, secondary keywords, 32%, 42% for generic keywords. I can use page titles and so on. Let's say as a simple example, 50-50 primary keywords and secondary keywords. And this is how the anchor will be built. Based on the distribution criteria, so we'll select random anchor. So on the bottom, we have URLs in exactly the same way. In exactly the same way, the rules how to select URLs. This could be either my URLs, it could be authority links, it could be my RankWyz blogs from the network, so for interlinking. And we recently added link vault where you have store your links. So it's again for interlinking. So if I disable everything from here, let's say I only use this, and this is simplest case. I have my URLs, let's say I have about 1,000 URLs, and I want to create rich linking profile. So I have URLs and I have primary keywords and secondary keywords. Now if I go to preview, you can see different options, different variations of random URL based on rules mixed with a random anchor. And if you're not familiar with this, you can see there are like a lot of options. There are anchor templates, there are tags where like we have domains, brands extracted. So we have page title where we navigate to the page and extract template, and so on and so on. We have naked links. Let's say if I have 30% a link as an anchor. So you can see that it creates it based on rules. Now, once we have a template, once we have a link profile set up, so we have templates, and I think it was just going too long. I will explain it later. But template is the instructions how to present links. And again, so most of the systems have a built-in, and this is we had it originally built in the posting, and that's why we always showed one more options how to place links. Now when we extracted it, so we have different templates, and there is a separate video of explaining the formatting rules for links, and you can see this is plain link, and it's create every time new link. And I can format links in the forms of resource box. To learn more about primary keyword, go here. Or I can format it in the form of banner. Let's say if I want to put it on top. You see it, a clickable banner. I can format it in a, and again, so there is a template. You can create your template. There is a separate video on this. So, but now again, so this is where like a lot of people get frustrated. So we don't have it in one place, but we separate it in parts, and now every part is responsible. Content creation phase. Can we see the content creation phase? Well, it's probably better to review that because this is what we started with and spent a good half an hour. Posting, can that be 50-50 or two different templates? Yes. Let's say I use, I'll show one more, read more. So where like we format them in a list. So now, so when we prepare this and we set up a template, and this is again, so like this is where I want to somehow simplify it, but get overcome this the approach that hey, it's too complex. Like I have to go this and this and this step, but I am trying to understand to show that the power of this, because you now in control in a full control of your templates and placing the links, and you format in any way, and you extract them from different forms. Now if I go back to the content mill, let's say like I use one with the own articles. I go down and there's links options. I enable it. I select the profile, let's say home business. I selected the template, plain link, or I can say resource box, or I can say banner, and I select the placement. Banner will go on the top. You even can change probability. Let's say 50% will have a banner on the top. 100% will have more buzz, read more, and it will go on the bottom, and so on and so on. So basically, um, uh, it's basically you combine this is the way you enhance your content, like if you post in links. So you once you configure the template, configure the content itself, you specify how you want to place a link, location, and placement, template, and profile. So, and because it's extracted of the whole process of submission, so we can continue built-in flexibility and improving templates, improving. Let's say we're currently looking in so-called expanded form of links, where like you place in the link in the expanded format and it extract titles, a little bit of description and link. So you don't need to configure it. It will be like that's we call it internally expanded format. It could be title, image, small snippet, small image from the page and link, or might be title. This was suggested in our mastermind group. Great idea. The same way as a lot of systems now do, when you place a link, they extract small screenshot of the image. So basically, by extending link profile, which is a separate sub component, so we don't need to change anything in here, because the richer link profile it is, the better we have the quality of content and placing links. But it does not change the process of setting up campaign, because it's encapsulated. It's here, like, and created the content. So let's say we finally set everything up. Finally, and again, so that's unfortunately sentiment towards those who believe that our system is very long to set up. Let's say I go back to, well, I showed it. Okay, I'm not going to back to diets. Let's say we have set and we have it running and we have article created. So next question, where to post. I'll try to make it short because it's like simplest part. Everything grouped in the form of projects. Originally it was a network. We made it 2-level, so because I saw that pretty much everyone who extensively uses RankWyz has long list of networks, and they do some kind of naming convention, client 1 T1, client 2 T2. So we grouped everything in the project, and in the project you now have main site with competitors if you possibly want to track them. We have the one thing that is going to be added like in the next day or two is SEO properties, where you can add a YouTube, LinkedIn profile, citations, pages, anything that also part of the SEO target, especially for local. Thank you, Rob. Yeah, I like this page too. So it's grouping all together, and we have grouped networks inside and tiers. Tiers we use mainly for the way of organizing the information. We don't use it, so it's like, don't ask me what tier I should put this network. It's up to you. It's just the way you can see them all together. You see that number. You can click and expand if there are any submissions that are running in this network. So you can see graphs. You can see simple stats, and for the type of projects, how to post and where to post. We have projects, networks, and blogs. So we have self-hosted blogs and PBN. So we extracted in a separate type of network, PBN. And if I go to one of my networks, I obviously don't have most of them. Of ones I have are test for the testing purposes. But this is the homepage of PBN network. You can see the stats, IPs, hosting information, hosting locations. If you have rank tracker enabled, so you can see the number of keywords that it's tracking to, postings, events, and if you go to blogs. So basically what I'm trying to show, this view is different than Web2. The Web2 before, we didn't separate them much, although definitely the PBN network deserve of the better interface than Web2. So this is all information we capture, metrics, most metrics. This is metrics we collect, the number of index pages, number of keywords. This blocks is ranking in Google. This is Majestic. Let's say if I go to specific blog, you again can see metrics of the blogs. We didn't advertise it yet, but you can take a snapshot of the all metrics of the blog and later compare them to the blog, and you can see the changes. Well, we didn't do we have an idea how to evolve it later in reporting, but it's just so we have PBN manager, stats, page views, uptime monitor. So basically this is PBN network, and this is where you want to add your and this is where you add your high level sites, PBN sites. So we have network for Web2 blogs, for bookmarking, and lately we added support for social signals. We have Twitter already working, Facebook pages, and groups, and LinkedIn. So those four are working. This is towards where we post. Once we have content, actually you can change the sequence, or sometimes you already have preset projects, but this is what you do when you decide you want to post your regarding social. Yeah, it's still well, we can get it into support chat, Simon. I was posting on the for the Facebook groups and pages, but it's again, so like I think we will do like separate, because we have a lot of work to do on the improving social integration. How to publish on PBNs, Jim. So let's say now we decide to publish. I will just cover one more topic. So we have self-hosted blogs, we have Web2 blogs where we want to post. We have an option of RankWyz managed networks. So I don't know if you some of them know that, some of you don't, because it's not anywhere. If I go to submissions on the project level, so I can create submission that will be posted to the shared network. And this is one of the easy way to start. Although, of course, there's drawbacks of the posting on the blogs where everyone is shared, but we only introduce it after we figure out how we control what everyone posts. So once you create a post on the shared network, you only limited. You will be forced to select what kind of network it is, and it defines the content that will be posted. So basically, you post your links to the you post your links, but content will be created automatically by RankWyz. So back to the question, how we post our content. So once we have content and in any form, whether we just simply load our own content over content meal, or we used RankWyz to craft the content for you. Now we have our projects, and this is the simplest to understand and simplest to set up. So I create a project. If I want to add main site, different networks, and a simple implementation, it would be a project and one network inside. Let's say this one. And this is where I add my blogs. Well, I will use, let's say, something where I have more blogs. Let's say here. This is a network, and this is where I have enough blogs. Now it all comes together. I have what to post and I have where to post. Submission becomes much simpler process. For those of you who remember how extremely complex it grew in the old RankWyz, and we kept adding and adding, it just all because everything will jump with one setup. Like it's true. I started with the one simple click of the button. I want to post. So basically set up submission. And then going through the wizard like step by step, I would choose well, like everything. And when I click post, it started posting. So yeah, to some extent, it is exactly what it is. One click post and you click. But anyway, there was like hundreds and hundreds of settings, and it was hard to test. It was hard to explain, and more important, it was hard to decide whether we should add a feature when someone is requested. Let's say some group of users will benefit, others will suffer because it's yet another option, and it just like really eye-popping, like how many options on the screen. So now URL for the self-hosted blogs versus RankWyz hosted network. Well, RankWyz hosted network is it's a huge pool of like we have about 20 networks. Every has maintains 10,000 alive blogs. It's WOP2 blogs. So intention, the reason it's like they good for low tier. Like you don't want to maintain, they don't keep them alive. That's what usually happens when someone does second or third level tier posting. Like the further this post is from your main site, the less you're concerned about how long those blocks will be surviving, and it's because you use them for backlinking. And as a result, nobody cares about third tier as much about as first tier. So this is the idea why we added this manage blocks. Well, I have a long question, so I think if I read it, a long comment, if I read it, so it will just take too much time of us. But I guess it's, if I look, it's although the main point, although RankWyz is a flexible and collaborative platform, nobody wants to waste time. That's why everyone goes with a networker. So well, again, so like everyone has their own view and on what is required. So that I had this dilemma for so long, so many times. Should we make it simple and with the one button to push? Like no, I'm not going to argue about design of RankWyz versus the networker, like what FCS networker. Well, it was designed after RankWyz. It's for the reason used exact same notations RankWyz used. So it's always used easy to reproduce the service that someone did before. Well, and again, so like we all borrow from each other. Like all concepts, all notations, all names, and on current networker is that what RankWyz had. So we decided to change. Well, there is always there's always a way to decide to go with a simpler way. And again, I see the use case when someone says, I don't care about metrics, I don't care about quality of the content, I don't care, like I do everything manual. I need mass bulk poster of Web2 blogs and bookmarks, and what is the simplest approach to this? Well, this is why we decided, so no, we're not going to do this. Otherwise, like the minute this approach stop works, the service will stop. So our new objective is to create authority blocks, created authority SEO properties. I'm not ready, but I can show you the networks of some users where we have dozens and hundreds of Web2 blogs with the PA 40 plus, and they spend a lot of time crafting them. But like 40 plus PA Web2, like when you have thousands of those, that's a lot of power. And like, I mean, the simple shift from posting to Web2 to have a network of 1,000 PA 40 Web2 blogs where you can post your links to your clients. This is like this simple shift requires so much of this redevelopment and redesign. So like including the metrics monitoring, including the separation of process of building authority and posting. So yeah, is it complex? It is. But hey, well, like it's a small business. And one of the reasons why I can get excited and work 18 hours a day is just to get excited about what we do. So like I'm proud of what we do and I'm excited about what we do. Does it take much time? Well, we introduced new service that says set up your campaign, and it's specifically for $10. Complete setup of your campaign based on your requirements plus summary video. You can see me setting up this campaign in 10 minutes. Is it long enough? No, it's worth the time, like the difference and the results, like what do you get? So like again, so I'm stepping aside. It's because it's a sensitive topic for me. Should we make it simpler? Should we make it some kind of straight path through the system? Of course, we should make it more user-friendly, but at the same time, the simpler use case the some system cover, the easier the method dies. Like we go into the like now in the submissions. So now we have a content, and again, the idea of separating content, links, link sets, link profiles separately is exactly for the reason so that now once you have it set up, let's say you have multiple clients and you spend time preparing the content for the electricians or might be constructions or someone. So now like you, unlike the old approach when you always start submission, go through 40 tabs and set up everything, enter your keywords, enter your links and enter something. So you go to the submissions and click and create submissions from the pretty straightforward interface because everything else is outside of this configuration. I'll give it a name, I select the content I want to post, and I have an option to post on my blogs or on the blogs in the group, and this is separate topics where you can create dynamic groups by from the different authority criteria, number of posts, number of index posts, mouse metrics, number of keywords presented in SERP, how to select, how many to post, whether I want drip feed or not, and if I want to repeat this. This is simple setup that will gives me answer to my most immediate needs. So I have a contract with new guy and I want to post my diet or yoga content on my network that is prepared and grown to the authority, and I know that it's safe to place my link. This is how when it comes to postings, I don't need to set up anything more but posting. What it hasn't built in is automation, and this is the part that is pieces missed in pretty much everyone now. Like I'm just explaining it over and over. I'm getting better at explaining, and I'm blame myself for having a hard time explaining the idea of push submissions. But if I go to submissions, there are three types of submission: post submission, and this submission is familiar with. You familiar from any system. Post submissions, you have something to post, you schedule the post, you set where to post. Basically, submission is, or campaign is a configuration that says what to post, where to post, and how to post. I want to spread, I want to repeat, I want to stop after some time. So this is post. Push submission is different. If you look at the push submission, it has, and I think this is 70% of the power of what we've done so with all of the redesign. The push submission is you tell where to post, what to post. Let's say I still post my diet content, whether I want to spread posts, and now how to post URLs, how many times. So basically it's not scheduled, it's built for backlinking. It's backlinking. Yeah, it is being recorded. So unless anything, something screwed up, so it will be available to view over. So this is the topic. As I said, so because it's completely new concept. I don't know any other system that implements it. Probably we just not bad with wording of this. But the idea is that when I create this, I don't say that how often I want to post. And let's say, I understand that RankWyz for 85% used for backlinking. So like some people might use it to post for the main site, but not likely. So RankWyz is a tiered backlinking. And this is where like 85% of the cases we would need to use push submission rather post submission. What it does, let's see if I can do. Well, that goes a little bit offhand, but that's my favorite topic. So if you have 10 more minutes, so I will just cover the difference between post and post submission. So what we have with the typical post submission, we have content mill, and we have link profile, anchor, URL, mixed together in link profile, like it's create link, this is create the content. They together mixed and create article. So I specify what kind of content, I will specify where you want to place a link. Let's say I will place it random. And this is what this is how it's specifically, like, more or less set up in any system. So you set up, you go to content tab, you go to links tab, you mix them together, this is what you have. So it could be better, it could be worse. You can set up like placement as a resource box, but once you have this, you schedule them. Like you said, I want to schedule them, where's my, once a week on each block. And this is it's posting. So basically we grab links from the other sites, from like our client side, from might be upper tier site, mix them in the link profile or link set, whatever you want to call it, and decide how often we want to post. So we backlinking. But if you think, if we separate the process, one is authority building or posting, second is backlinking, and separate them. When we want to do post submission, when we build an authority, let's say we create a new network and we post into, there's no links, might be authority links, and we want to post it regularly to the point that like every blog has so many posts. If I have my own, completely my own content, we don't interfere with it, so you post your own content, you schedule your own content, let's say you have embedded videos or something. But if you have case when you need to do backlinking, This is how different is push submission. The same content meal that produces content, the same link profile that has anchor, nothing, no URL. This is instructions how to create a content. And the last missing part is URL. You can submit your URLs from any other tools via API. You can add them manually. You can use our WordPress plugin or any other tool. Well, not too many of them, but let's say manual. You can automate. You can post it from the upper tier. You can do WordPress plugin. We have API for this. Every URL you post, URL. It uses the combination of content meal, anchor from the anchor profile, and URL plugged together and follow the rule, create the content. So now once you create this, once you set up this submission, you don't need to go back. Yes, it could be RSS monitor. Thank you, Yuri. I forgot the RSS monitor. That's important one. RSS monitor, it's also the way to push links into the push submission, the links to push submission. So what it does, the main problem we always had with the old system is we had to recreate the submission over and over and over again, start and stop. We want to backlink, like our client made one post and I want to backlink it 10 times. Oh, go ahead, create your submission, specify content, specify keywords, enter those 1 or 3 URLs, start, stop, check, next week do it again, and you do it again and do it again. Well, this is, well, I don't know. I think it's brilliant. Instead of this, we set up configuration of the content and anchor of everything. We set it up once, and you're not going back to this like, I mean, let's just say when I said that you set up your content meal once, yes, you created your content. We use diet, let's say, right? You can share it with multiple clients or for one client. It's diet. You set your link profile for the specific content. Let's say you have variety of diet keywords, and you set up your submission. You have your network where you want to post, and it's active, it's running, it's not posting anything. How it's better? So we have control of how many times every URL will be reposted. Let's say you have 10 times spread over 7 days. Once your client has a URL, or once you need to backlink any URL, you just go drop URL, and it will follow this rule, create the content, follow all of those rules, and post them several times. Yes, thank you. Yep. All of these configurations will be used to simply decorate the link and post it. So like if I go back to the push submission, let's say I want to push my diets content on this blog 3 times, and again, it might be 3 times. You might use, it depends on the size of your network. You might create a snowball. You might say, I want to post it 100 times over like 24 days. Or like, of course, like let's say use 3. And by default, it will place the link randomly. But if you go to advanced settings, exactly same setup. I want to use my diet profile. I want to use template in the form of resource box, and I want to put it in the bottom. So now if I go back to this diagram, so like I don't need to reconfigure every 2 URLs I get from this client whenever I have them. And even more, we try to automate it to the point so that let's say will this push down to all tiers, or needs to be set up on each tier? Well, it will, what we're talking about is exactly submission that receives URL. So it's waiting for this, but you can chain them. You go to automation and you can send it for even lower tier bookmarking or lower tier blogging. And you can see that you can chain them like to the point, to any point you want, and it will be in controlled way in a spread. Let's say I want every URL to be posted several times, spread it. Yeah, flow chart is good because I didn't really plan to go that deep, and next time I definitely will just cover more. I cover use cases of this push and post and push submission. But basically, if I go to the create post submission now and I schedule my post to, this is what we do. I want to do like 100 posts, like 5 posts. But every successful post I want to send to the push submission, and this is selection. And I don't need, in this case, to specify anything because push submission is configured. What content to use, what link, what anchor to use, how many times to post. I would just say, if it's successful, push it down. And every submission has this. You can chain like any number of submissions in the You're welcome, Scott. So I'm glad I helped you. But I said, so like I'm really excited about the concept. I'm willing to do this like, I don't know, weekly or even daily if it helps to understand this, because this is where it's different. If let's say I go to the push submission, and again, I don't want to confuse you so that I create a manual URL, but this is one of the options. You add URL and you said, of course, it's not google.com, but if I created Google, you can see that it's create 3 posts. If I go to posts, it creates a URL, and see they're waiting for content generation. They spread. If I set up spread and it's set up exactly the number of times, and if later on I said, and then next successful, push it even further. So you can, from one post, create like hundreds and hundreds of posts. Yes, for when we do it next time, I will just set up all use cases for push and push submission. But the one last topic before we go that is very exciting is related to the topics we added. You notice that, well, I mentioned that in the paleo diet, let's say we now use topics. And again, well, the worst diagramming possible, but so now we have a content meal that creates on a diet content, and it uses topics: paleo diet, caveman diet, a liquid diet. So they all very targeted. So we create post submission, and it's posts on my first tier. I'm going way too far from Mike. Articles that is all topic specific. Let's say liquid diet. So now we create, and now we configure that every successful post will go to lower tier push submission, and it's configured to backlink every incoming URL, to use every incoming URL, let's say 5 times. Not only we pass URL now, but we also pass topic. And the lower tier content will be created from the same topic, liquid diet, and will place the link in the context of the article. So if, let's say, I have broader case, let's say it would be hockey, baseball, tennis, and yoga. Instead of backlinking, and this is like every other, like every automated system compromise in the lower tier, because it's really hard to say that what we backlink, so that we do bulk backlinking. So with this approach, not only it will create articles specific on topic on hockey, but when the URL will be sent to lower tier, it will use exact same topic. You can see that this URL will pass from the upper tier, and it uses raw food diet. And if I go to posts, you can see this is lower tier, but let's say something about easy to read, another. Raw food diet, and it should have a link to the upper tier with the relevant anchor to the same type of content that is on the raw food diet. So it creates like a micro campaigns inside a campaign where like raw food diet pages backlink and promote raw food pages on the upper level and so on. I'll just do once again one more time. Sorry, plain and simple. That's a good question. Can we configure topics and if they can go in the right categories? Well, jump on the question because the answer is yes. So if I go to diet, topics, first of all, we have, and it's a generic, so configuration and advanced settings of tags and categories. You can do them by random and by matching. This is common for all content buckets. But for topics, you can override and specify for paleo diet. You can specify what category and topic it will go into. And if your PBN does not have this category, it will create. So you don't need to go over your dozens and maybe even 100 sites and create paleo diet category. If category does not exist, it will be created. So answer yes, you can bind categories and tags to specific topic to even improve relevancy. Where do you provide self-hosted logins for the push system? Well, self-hosted, that's another topic. Like, I don't know, might be the beginning, we need to do it more often. Might be like instead of waiting week after week, might be I'll cover submission with the use cases more, and there are a lot of questions about self-hosted. How about it's like way over an hour. How about if we do next topic either on push yeah, Jim. So I definitely will help. So it's just I can give you my Skype and I'll answer the specific question for how to configure this. It's just not because I don't want that, because if we go in the PBN setup, and it's might take me another like an hour before you stop me. Yeah, I will post in the replay again. So considering that everything recorded, so I will post a replay at least in our mastermind group, so that I don't know how good it is to be a public view, but for my first webinar. But I see a lot of questions. So that how about if I'll just take those questions offline and compile them, and we mastermind group. We're a mastermind group. Mastermind group is Facebook. We have an Facebook small group of users who I update a little bit more often than over email with yeah, Jim, I'll add in you and will help you with your questions. For the for PBN, I can briefly tell you, but again, so it's just probably will be as helpful as is brief. So like in PBN network, we add in PBN sites, and there are two ways to post on PBN. You can post using post submissions, or there is a block level submission. This is where you enable posting, and that creates submissions specifically targeted to this block. This is a special use case when you don't have a group of blocks, and like every time you post only on one block. You enable block for posting, and that creates let's say my bookmark, and I have a block here, and if I go to settings, this is what you're talking about. If I go to settings, I have an option to enable posting, and that creates another tab, submission. And this is special submission. It's stripped down the post submission, but it's targeted this one specific block. So let's say if you struggle, like some of users, I've seen these examples, they create network per one block only because they want to specifically post to one block. This is the answer. So you can enable posting for the specific block, but outside of this, it's all pretty much the same. So you select the bucket diet. You have option to select categories from here, because we now have specific access to the block and read categories. You can select tags. Or if you select or it can be overridden with settings coming from content mill. How many tags? Basically, you select the bucket, category, and tags, and how often to post. Let's say once in 24 hours, and will be every 24 hours making a post. And as I said, with every submission, there is an option for lower tier push. So like once you create a successful post, push it down to the submission to be backlinked. Well, but this is briefly if it doesn't explain, so that I will go in offline and help more. Let's call it a great session. I was a little bit nervous of how it's going to be, and it might be because of that. It took me long before we did our first webinar. I will compile all questions because so many questions came in the late, and I know how it sounds from the side when somebody mumbles reading questions. So I'll compile them. I might pause them, so we will just decide what would be the next one, and if it's PB, and if it's to posting, linking of the posting all together, between post and push, might be a little bit more in details, because I don't need to cover all over again what is content mill and link profiles, and we'll cover them and we'll see the results. I really appreciate everyone for support with my first webinar, and thank you, and thank you again. And I definitely will be doing more. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Well, you don't see me, but I'm waving to all of you. Bye.